Come on, where is she?
Hi, Jirard. I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm just gonna put my stuff down and then fix my makeup, and I'll be totally ready to film, okay?
Okay, you know what?
You okay? What's going on?
Yo, Jesse!
What up?
Hi, Jesse.
Yo, have you seen Dodger? She's supposed to be here about a half an hour ago. You'd think that because we're now in a communal office space that she'd be here all the time.
No, I have not. No, she was actually supposed to be on the podcast like 45 minutes ago.
Not true.
You know what? Sam would know where she is. I'm gonna give Sam a call.
No, dude, he's like right out in the lobby. He's like right here. I can just... Sam!
Great. Glad we're doing this joke again. More short jokes. Love it.
All right, boys. Hey, what's up?
Hi, honey.
Have you seen your significant other?
Yeah. Tell them how dumb this joke is, Sam. Please.
No, I haven't seen her. I mean, do you want me to call her?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Are we really doing this right now?
It's ringing. Is it?
Hi, honey. How are you?
It just went to voicemail.
No, it didn't.
Maybe Alex has seen her. Alex!
I am right here.
Whoa! How long have you been here?
The whole time, Jirard.
Sorry, babe.
I still don't see her.
Sorry, have you guys seen Dodger anywhere? She doesn't usually go the song without emailing me
For
back.
the love of God.
Who are you guys talking to?
Yes!
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Completionist. Please give another warm welcome to Dodger from Press Heart to continue.
Hello, everybody. Super excited to be back, although a little bit confused because we did already do an Aladdin episode for the Super Nintendo version.
So a few months ago, I did a top 10 Genesis games, and I looked at the list, and I realized that, oh yeah, we did Aladdin, so for the Super Nintendo, and I read those comments, and everyone was really mad at us because we just talked mad trash on the Genesis version.
Whoops.
So I figured since you're here in the office with me, and we're going to be working together a lot more often, I thought, hey, let's take a look at the Genesis version of Aladdin.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Sorry, 1 second. I've never had an episode. All right, this is her second one, so I mean, I thought we were bros.
I'm sorry, Sam, I didn't realize you wanted to be on the show.
Well, maybe I can do this one.
No. Get out. You were mean to me in the intro. Get out. All right, cool. Where were we? So let's go over what we know from last time. We know that Capcom had a partnership to bring games to the Super Nintendo, and most of the Capcom games developed were fantastic. While at the same time, Disney also had a partnership locked in with Sega, Virgin Games, and Disney Interactive to develop original Sega ports of Disney properties to the console.
You know, I remember that as a kid, the Genesis version was really hard. I mean, maybe I wasn't the sharpest kid around, but I feel like from a young age, I was pretty good at games. But this was one of those titles that glared at me from the shelves of every video rental store I went to.
You know, it's kind of sad to think that video rental stores are no longer with us.
Yeah, but hey, Netflix and Gamefly do the trick, right?
Speaking of Gamefly, if you sign up right now with the code ThatOneVideoGamer, you can—
Oh, no, Dodger, no, we don't have a partnership with them.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
But consider this an opening of the door? Yeah, you know what, whatever, let's just play. Have you seen the movie? Good, that's the plot, moving on.
Oh, come on, Jirard. Someone out there hasn't seen the movie, and we should at least fill them in a little bit.
Okay, fine. Far away in the city of Aghanim lived a poor boy named Aladdin, who yearned for a better life. Always on the run from people for petty theft, him and his buddy Abu are all about surviving one day at a time. Meanwhile, in the great palace, Jafar, the evil advisor to the Sultan, is plotting to overthrow the Sultan and become the sole ruler of Agrabah. To do that, he needs magic power, so he tricks Aladdin into entering the Cave of Wonders to find the lamp on his behalf. And I'm sure all of you know what happens when you find a lamp, a genie, 3 wishes, whatever you want. Come on.
Jafar seemingly offers Aladdin a chance to have the future he's always wanted. He meets a princess and, well, you know the rest. Mix in an amazing genie played by the late and immortal Robin Williams, and what you get is a Disney film that impacted the lives of millions and millions of people around the world.
So here we are with the Genesis version of the game, and yes, the plot is still intact. So there. Are we good?
I do feel better, yeah. The wars waged on between Nintendo and Sega for many years, but when comparing both versions of the game to each other, we've got two totally different products, which in this case is actually a good thing. In the Super Nintendo version, we saw a lot of original things going on. Original music with small nods to licensed music. Aladdin didn't look 100% like himself, but it was enough that you knew who was on the screen, and Aladdin's small sprite gives the game a distinctive feel.
In the Genesis version, we see a pretty big difference. The animation looks hand-drawn straight out of the film. Well, that's because the animation was hand-drawn. The drawn images would then be digitized and then compressed into the Genesis. Later on, the Disney marketing department called this process Digicel. The colorful world of Aladdin is still intact, with version games favoring colorful items and characters straight from the film, such as gems and the genie. I'd argue that, while I love the Capcom style a lot, the animation sprites do really look spot on to these drawing cells of the film. It's also a nice touch that the enemies look like the characters straight out of the film. But I do have one gripe. Why is it that when you beat a level, Aladdin looks so angry? More like a Madden, am I right?
Musically, the game provides everything pretty close to what we see in the film. Our boy Tommy Tallarico is back with a co-composer, Donald Griffin, and it's as legit as it needs to be. But for whatever reason, when it came to level design, they added a few levels that, plot-wise, don't really belong in the game. You guys remember that part where Aladdin goes into the desert, or returns to Agrabah in the middle of the day? Yeah, me neither. Still, the game is pretty much 100% licensed music, with a few original tracks here and there. And the extra levels are understandable. It is a platformer based off a movie, after all.
Honestly, I'd say overall, I think I need to apologize. I forgot how good this game was for the time. It looks pretty damn solid, and it deserves the visual and musical praise that it gets. But the gameplay, I think that's where my opinion starts to waver a ton.
You know, Jirard, it's hard to revisit this game without talking about the one we already reviewed. I grew up playing the Super Nintendo version, so I'm somewhere in the middle.
Ironically, when I was a kid, I couldn't beat this game. I always found that the Genesis version from a gameplay standpoint was way more difficult. And replaying it now, even on hard mode, it's not nearly as bad as I remember. Let's talk about the differences.
Right, so the largest gameplay difference between the Genesis and the SNES ports is the sword.
He's got a sword!
Yes, we still have a lot of platforming in both games. Aladdin defends himself using his sword by stabbing guards and snake charmers and snakes, and you know, other various creatures. Like our SNES counterpart, we can gather apples to throw at enemies. It is weird not being able to jump on enemies, and you have to stab them to win. Aladdin's a lover, not a fighter, man.
I don't want to say this game is a lot more realistic than the other, because let's be real, that's a bizarre sentiment. But looking at the Super Nintendo version, there's a lot less floatiness and a lot more danger. In the SNES version, there wasn't really any kind of extreme danger, aside from pits and some platforming here and there. With the Genesis version, I will say that some of these level designs could have easily been fixed with the re-implementation of the parachute, but that's not in this game at all, which makes some of these platforming areas a bit difficult to stomach through.
Yet, with the Genesis version, we've got spikes and other obstacles that are hard to platform through. Enemies are a lot more difficult to hack down, and there's not really clear direction about where to go in some levels, even when you have to circle around through areas that are condensed on top of each other. And platforms are made from things in both the background and the foreground. It's just messy and confusing. The difficulty difference between both games is very, very large, but at least they ease the difficulty with the use of gems. You can collect gems which can be given to the peddler from the film, buying extra lives or a wish, which is a continue.
Does that make any game less fun? I'm not really sure. It's hard to say. Personally, I think the fun factor is still evident in both games, but it seems a bit more prominent and loose in the Super Nintendo version. With that said, the game does ask you to understand a lot more than the other. Level designs mashed with different battle mechanics, and let me just say something personally. The magic carpet lava level. It's the worst part of this game.
Well, at least you said it blunt and concise.
Yeah, that shit. It's hard, it sucks to play, least favorite part of the game, it's broken, it's too fast for humans, it's too fast for humans. That is all.
Every level comes equipped with 2 types of bonus minigames, provided you can find them. The first one is the Genie minigame, which is also in the SNES game, but this one is not really as colorful or as fun. Super Nintendo has this visually appealing roulette wheel, whereas with this, it's just mashing a button at the same time. And if you lose, prepare to feel real bad! Ah, bro, my feels!
The other minigame stars Abu and has you running away from literally everything. If you get hit, you lose, so your goal is to try and collect as many gems and items as possible. You know, it's great and all, but there's still no completion bonus for this episode due to the linear nature of the game, even on hard mode. No extra quest, no gem thing, nothing.
The boss fights are pretty interesting. They seem a bit harder than they're perceived, though. Man, there's actually a lot of differences I wish I had picked up before. I had no idea.
Yeah, I think we were too quick to judge the game without really taking an earnest look.
I never knew that games made by different companies about the same thing could be so different, and yet so the same, and yet so different.
Wait, really? Haven't you seen my game collection? You can play any game you want.
Really?
I can show you my games. Mario, Pac-Man, and Max Payne. Tell me, Dodger, now when did you last let your heart piece decide? We could play with these guys. Jesse, Alex, or Sunder. Success, failure, or blunder always ends with a high five.
A whole new game.
Don't you dare lose a life.
A fair amount.
Keep playing, it gets better. I'll play them anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share all of these games with you. So many games.
So many games.
So much to see.
So much to see.
An office space.
A gaming place
For you and me.
Can I be in the show yet?
No!
So let's just say you've beaten all the levels up to this point and you end up at Jafar's palace. The levels have been staggeringly bizarre in terms of progression, with boss fights weighing in and out of relevancy with the story's plot. I mean, maybe the Iago battle is the only one that makes sense. Anyways, we finally make it to Jafar's lair, and this battle is a bit disappointing.
Almost the entire game up to this point has been focused on using your sword, with the occasional use of the apples here and there. But this final boss fight solely relies on the use of apples. The fight is not nearly as fun, dynamic, or epic as its Super Nintendo counterpart. You'll be scared, and you won't really know what to do when you run out of apples. Dear God, we're running out of apples! What are we gonna do? Oh, they respawn. Cool.
Defeating Jafar's almighty snake form ends the game. We get a lovely kiss from Aladdin and Jasmine, and the credits roll on for days. No surprise here, folks. Nothing to look at. Move along.
Aladdin for the Sega Genesis is, I would say, a lot harder than the Super Nintendo version. Yes, you've got a sword, but there's no parachute. The levels remind me of the staircases in Castlevania, where you need to go up and down very slowly to make sure that you're going in the right direction. There's a lot of cheap deaths and situations in this game.
The important thing here is that the game does maintain its fun factor, even though it lacks that concise feeling the other one had. Maybe I'm a bit nostalgia blind, but I feel that both games have a lot going for and against them, with the Super Nintendo version still coming out the victor overall. I mean, come on, it's Capcom. Let me finish. In the 90s. Capcom in the 90s.
Yeah, the animation here totally kept me intrigued, more so than in the other game. But more importantly, both games are still super fun and will get you in the mood to sing and dance your way to the end, just like in the film.
So after fairly assessing both games and playing the Genesis version, the Super Nintendo version, I still think my original opinion stands that the Super Nintendo version is just a little bit better.
Although the Genesis version does have a lot going for it. I mean, it's got the art, it's got the music, you feel like you're in Agrabah. It's like you're playing the film.
So, with that in mind, guys, we give this game our completionist rating of Finna Play It.
Finna Play It!
Hey, thanks for stopping on by. We really appreciate it. And hey, if you like what you saw, hit that blue button right there. And if you want to check out our other review on Aladdin, give it a click right over here. And as for me, if you want to check out my stuff, give it a click right there. Yeah!
That's all the time we have for today, guys, so please, as always, let us know what you thought about today's episode somewhere on the internet. A big thank you to Dodger, our guest for today.
You are so welcome. I'm delighted to be here.
Also, a big shout out to Ace Waters, who helped write and compose the original composition of our
beautiful song.
And also to Michael Santel for helping with the lyrics. I felt this is like an actual musical number, which is kind of fun.
No.
Yeah. So now, if you excuse us, enjoy some of our horrible outtakes we had during the entire process of filming. A lot of this might offend you guys. I don't know. Take it away. Enjoy whatever this was.
Still don't see her.
I see Dodger.
You son of a...
Did you just forget your entrance?
Yeah, I was into the story. I was wondering to myself, where's Dodger? If she's not there, where is she? Because normally we email.
Alex, I just want to get you to band practice.
I canceled it.
All right, fine. That's your fault now.
Let's get Jimmy home to his family.
Yes, Jimmy's the next on the list then.
Sam and I want In and Out.
And then Sam and Dodger.
You need to do Tales of Symphonia.
Shut up, Mark.